My name is Zixvorn, and I have been watching the Vrax Military Academy's live stream for the past 6 hours.
6 hours. Do you understand what that means? I have sacrificed my entire afternoon on my home planet of Kethros to witness what the instructors have been calling the most competitive intake in Academy history. The most competitive. Those are their words, not mine. Though, to be fair, I have nothing better to do, and the drama is absolutely unhinged. Let me set the scene for you. The Vrax Military Academy sits on the northern continent of Kethros, perched on a mountain that is so unnecessarily tall, so cosmically dramatic, that I am convinced whoever designed the building was compensating for something, probably their sense of tactics. The Academy trains the elite soldiers of the galaxy, or at least, that is what every single species within 1,000 light-years believes. The Vrax, the Kelians, the Throns, even some humans, which is where our story gets interesting. The broadcast has been running since dawn. New recruits arriving, families cheering, ships descending like metallic locusts. And the commentator, the commentator is absolutely insufferable. His name is Kelrix, and he has been providing real-time analysis with the enthusiasm of someone who has never witnessed anything remotely exciting in his entire life. Every cadet who walks off a transport ship, he gasps. Every footstep is potentially historic. I am sitting here on my couch. Yes, I have a couch. And yes, I am drinking something called Vortex juice, which tastes like plasma mixed with regret. And I am watching this absolute circus unfold. The new recruits are filing into the assembly hall. There are roughly 300 of them. They come from 47 different species. The Vrax represent about 40% of the intake, which makes sense because this is their academy, and they are insufferable about maintaining dominance. Then there are the Kelians, tall, blue-skinned creatures with 4 arms and egos the size of small moons. The Throns are here too, smaller, reptilian, incredibly fast. And then, scattered throughout the crowd like Easter eggs nobody asked for, are the humans. I count 7 humans so far. The Vrax drill sergeant, a monster of a being named Commander Zorth, stands at the podium. He is massive, easily 3 meters tall, with gray skin covered in ceremonial scars that probably mean absolutely nothing but look very impressive. He has been screaming at the recruits for the past hour about discipline, honor, and the fact that 80% of them will not graduate. His voice is so loud that I had to turn my broadcast volume down by 50%, and I am still pretty sure my neighbors heard him through the walls. You have entered the most prestigious military institution in the known galaxy. Zorth is bellowing. Here, we do not care about your species. We do not care about your homeworld. We do not care about your feelings. What we care about is whether you can survive the next 9 months of absolute psychological and physical torment. The recruits stand at attention. Most of them look terrified. Some look excited. And then there is one, a human woman, standing in the back row, looking like she is calculating the exact trajectory needed to exit the assembly hall if someone sets it on fire. She has brown hair pulled back in a simple bun. She is wearing the standard gray academy uniform. Nobody is looking at her. Literally, nobody. The cameras have panned past her 3 times, and each time, the commentator has focused on literally any other recruit in visual range. Her name tag reads, Vasquez, K. I do not know why, but I cannot stop watching her. Zorth continues his speech, and I am going to paraphrase here because, honestly, it is mostly threats and dramatic statements about what the Academy will do to the recruits' soft civilian bodies. He talks about the combat trials. He talks about the mental conditioning. He talks about the legendary warriors who have walked these halls. And then, he says something that makes the entire assembly hall go silent. This year, we have the distinct honor of training one of the most feared warriors in the entire galaxy. This individual has not been defeated in combat for over a decade. This individual has participated in more successful operations than most of you have lived through years. This individual is currently standing in this very room, and none of you know who they are. The broadcast cuts to various recruits looking around, trying to figure out who this mysterious warrior might be. The commentator, Kelrix, is absolutely losing his mind. Who could it be? He is screaming. Could it be the towering Vrax cadet in the front row? Could it be the Kellyan with the 4 arms? Could it be? Could it be? The cameras pan across the assembly hall, zooming in on various impressive-looking soldiers. A 7-foot Vrax with battle scars? Zoom. A Kellyan with military tattoos? Zoom. A Thrawn with that particular predatory stance? Zoom. Every impressive-looking creature gets a close-up. The cameras never land on Kira Vasquez, who is still standing in the back, looking like she is thinking about lunch. And that is when I realize something. The most feared warrior in the galaxy is a human, and nobody, absolutely nobody, has even noticed. The combat trials begin the next morning. This is where things get really interesting. The Academy has set up a series of one-on-one matches in the main arena. The broadcast quality is absolutely stunning. Crystal clear image, multiple angles, slow-motion replay options. They have spent enormous amounts of credits, making sure that everyone in the galaxy can watch their recruits brutalize each other. The first match is between a Vrax cadet named Vex Kala and a Thrawn named Shiv. Vex Kala is huge. Not Zorth huge, but still easily 2.5 meters tall, with muscles on top of muscles. He has been talking all morning about his lineage, about how his father was a commander, about how his entire family has attended this academy for 7 generations. He walks into the arena with the confidence of someone who has never experienced genuine physical consequence. Shiv is smaller, but lightning fast. He moves with the fluidity of his species, his reptilian body bending and coiling like a living whip. For approximately 90 seconds, it is an actual fight. Then Vex Kala lands a single punch. A massive, lumbering, telegraphed punch, and Shiv goes flying backward. Shiv tries to get up. He tries really hard. But Vex Kala just keeps hitting him, and eventually, Shiv stops trying. The crowd, the alien cadets, and instructors watching in the arena goes absolutely wild. They are screaming, cheering, celebrating Vex Kala's victory as if he has just single-handedly defeated an invasion force. The commentator is eating it up. What a display of raw power! Kelrix is shouting. Vortex Kala continues the Vrax dominance. Match after match unfolds. A Kellyan named Thorn Magister absolutely destroys a smaller Thrawn recruit. A Vrax named Rajmoth, the Academy's top-ranked cadet, disposes of a Kellyan without even getting winded. The pattern is clear. Size and strength equal victory. The more impressive the species, the more impressive the display, the more the crowd loses their minds. Then, during the 8th match, something happens. A recruit stands up. A human recruit. Kira Vasquez, who has been sitting quietly in the viewing section, eating what appears to be a ration bar with the enthusiasm of someone eating cardboard, suddenly stands up. The assignment list appears on the screen. Kira Vasquez versus Vex Kala. Round 2. I literally pause my live stream and rewind it 3 times. Yes, that is correct. Kira Vasquez, the human woman who has been completely ignored by every camera operator and commentator all morning, has been matched against the same Vrax cadet who just threw a Thrawn across the arena hard enough to crack the Vruz. Containment wall. Well, this should be quick, the commentator says, and he says it with such certainty, such absolute conviction, that I want to reach through the screen and slap him. Kira walks into the arena. She is still wearing her Standard Issue Academy uniform. She has not braided her hair or done anything to prepare. She literally just walks in. Vex Kala is already there, bouncing on his feet, doing some kind of warm-up routine that involves way too much arm movement and even more attitude. The match begins. This is where I need to be very, very careful in my description, because what happens next is so fast that the broadcast actually has to slow down the replay to show what occurred. Kira does not charge. She does not throw a punch. She does not do any of the dramatic, telegraphed movements that every other recruit has been doing. Instead, she simply moves. Her body shifts. Her weight redistributes. And then Vex Kala. The massive, confident, seven-generation legacy Vrax is flying backward through the air. He hits the ground hard enough that dust rises. He does not get back up. The arena goes absolutely silent. Then, the commentator says something that is absolutely brilliant in its stupidity. Well, that was obviously a lucky strike. A fluke. Kira Vasquez has clearly benefited from some kind of surprise tactic. Let us see if she can replicate that performance. Kira walks back to the viewing section. She sits back down. She finishes her ration bar. 3 more matches happen. More Vrax victories. More Kellyan victories. More celebration and screaming and commentator nonsense. And then, the 9th match. Kira Vasquez versus a Thrawn named Rex, who is incredibly fast and has just won his previous match with impressive technique. Kira enters the arena again. She is moving like she is going to go grocery shopping. Rex is bouncing, hissing, his predatory instincts fully engaged. The match starts. Rex lunges with the speed his species is famous for. It is absolutely incredible. The replay will show, later, that he moved at nearly 40 kilometers per hour. Kira was already not there. She is behind Rex, before he has even realized she has moved. And then, he is on the ground, gasping, the air knocked completely out of his lungs. 20 seconds. The entire match lasted 20 seconds. A fortunate matchup, the commentator says, but there is less certainty in his voice now. Vasquez simply got lucky with the positioning. By the time the 10th match rolls around, and Kira is fighting against a Kellyan named Lask, who has won all 3 of his previous matches, something is starting to shift. The broadcast cameras are finally starting to focus on Kira. The commentator's tone is becoming less certain. And the other recruits? They are starting to notice. This match is different. Lask is actually technically skilled. He uses all 4 of his arms, coordinating them in ways that should be impossible for any single opponent to defend against. He moves with grace. He moves with power. And he is absolutely terrified. I can see it in his movements. The hesitation, the slight flinch, every time Kira gets close. And when she does, when she finally moves in, it is so quick, so economical, so absolutely precise, that Lask does not even have time to process what is happening before he is on his back, unable to breathe, unable to move. 45 seconds. The broadcast goes silent. The commentator goes silent. The entire arena goes silent. Even the Vrax cadets, who have been loud and confident and absolutely insufferable all morning, are starting to whisper. Kira walks back to the viewing section. She sits down. She pulls out what appears to be a book, an actual physical book, which is absolutely hilarious because this is a military academy in the future, and she is reading what looks like a pre-industrial Earth novel while her competitors are freaking out behind her. By the time the afternoon session ends, Kira has fought 8 matches. She has won all 8. None of them lasted longer than 90 seconds. Most lasted less than a minute. And nobody, and I mean nobody, is making excuses anymore. The whispers begin that night. The broadcast continues with evening interviews, and this is where the real entertainment starts. The commentator is interviewing various recruits about their feelings, their experiences, their thoughts on the day's combat trials. Most of them are boring. They talk about honor. They talk about learning from their defeats. They talk about pushing harder tomorrow. Then, Kelrix interviews Vex Kala, the Vrax cadet who has been thrown across the arena like a sack of fertilizer by a human woman. Vex, how are you feeling about your performance today? The commentator asks. Vex Kala looks absolutely destroyed. I mean that literally. He is covered in bruises. He is moving like his body is made of broken machinery, and his response is absolutely perfect. I am not entirely sure what happened. One moment, I was assessing my opponent's stance. The next moment, I was wondering if the stars had always been that particular shade of blue. The commentator, to his credit, actually laughs. Well, Kira Vasquez certainly provided a learning experience. Do you think you will be prepared if you face her again? Vex Kala's response is immediate and honest. No, I do not think anything could prepare me for that. By the end of the evening broadcast, Speculation is running wild. Who is Kira Vasquez? Where is she from? What is her background? The commentator is now actively trying to dig into her file, but apparently her academy records are completely sealed. No fighting history, no combat documentation, nothing. Just a name, a species designation human, and a registration date. The mystery is absolutely consuming the broadcast now. More interesting, in my opinion, than the actual combat trials. More interesting than the politics of the academy. Just pure, unadulterated curiosity. I am so invested at this point that I have made myself some dinner, something called Kathran noodles, which taste like sadness mixed with disappointment, and I am settling in for the long haul. The tournament bracket is released the next day. This is the big show. This is where the academy really tests its recruits. 32 of the strongest fighters have been selected for a single elimination tournament. The winner will be crowned top recruit and will receive special commendation and advanced training opportunities. The bracket is laid out, and the commentator is absolutely vibrating with excitement as he goes through the matchups. Top seeds face low seeds. The strongest face the most promising. It is a carefully constructed tournament designed to create drama, to build tension, to showcase the best of the best. And then, the cameras zoom in on the bracket, and something absolutely hilarious happens. Kira Vasquez is not in the bracket. The commentator stops talking. He just stops. There is silence. And then he says, well, apparently, there has been an error in the bracket construction. Kira Vasquez, who has won every single match she has participated in, is not listed in the tournament. This is certainly unusual. The Academy administration, apparently, has decided that Kira Vasquez does not need to participate in the tournament. They are putting her directly into the finals, ahead of time, to compete against whoever wins the single elimination bracket. It is an absolute power move. It is also potentially the most arrogant thing I have heard in weeks. The message is clear. Everyone else is competing for second place. The tournament matches begin immediately. The Vraks are dominating, as expected. Vex Kala is back in action apparently. His defeat against Kira has not broken his spirit, only his bones, and he is destroying everyone he faces. Rajmoth, the top-ranked cadet, is equally impressive. The Kilians are fighting hard, but they are struggling against the raw strength of the Vraks. The Throns are doing okay. There is a particularly impressive one named Kethor, who has a combination of speed and precision that is genuinely beautiful to watch. But everyone is waiting for the finals. Everyone is waiting to see what happens when Kira Vasquez finally gets to fight someone who has also won every match they have participated in. The finals are held on the third day. The entire broadcast setup has been upgraded. There are now drone cameras, slow-motion replays, split-screen analysis. The arena has been cleared of spectators and reinforced with additional containment fields. The commentator has a team of analysts helping him provide real-time breakdown of technique and strategy. In short, they have gone absolutely crazy with the production value. The first final is between Rajmoth, the Academy's top-ranked cadet, and Vex Kala, who has surprisingly made it this far, despite his encounter with Kira. Both are Vraks. Both are incredibly strong. Both are incredibly confident. The match is actually good. It lasts almost 5 minutes. Rajmoth is technically superior, and Vex Kala is stronger, and they go back and forth, and it is actually entertaining. But eventually, Rajmoth wins with a perfectly executed takedown that is so smooth, so practiced, that the analysts actually stop talking just to appreciate it. The commentator is losing his mind. What a performance by Rajmoth! The Academy's top-ranked cadet advances to the finals. But wait, ladies and gentlemen, the real excitement comes next. The arena clears. The containment fields are reinforced even more. New drones are positioned. The commentator is absolutely vibrating with anticipation. And then, Kira Vasquez walks into the arena. She is wearing the same gray Academy uniform. Her hair is still in a bun. She is eating what appears to be some kind of protein bar, which is absolutely hilarious because she is about to fight the top-ranked cadet of the entire Academy. Rajmoth enters from the other side. He is massive. He is scarred. He is confident. He has trained his entire life for this moment. The match begins. For approximately 3 seconds, Rajmoth tries to establish dominance. He moves forward, his muscles rippling, his intent clear. He is going to demonstrate the superiority of his training, his breeding, his lineage. And then Kira moves. She does not charge. She does not throw a punch. She does not do anything dramatic or loud or impressive. She simply repositions herself. Her weight shifts. Her center of gravity moves. And suddenly, Rajmoth is no longer where he was. He is falling. Not being pushed. Not being thrown. Just falling, as if the ground has suddenly disappeared from beneath him. He crashes into the arena floor hard enough that the entire structure shakes. He does not get back up. The broadcast goes absolutely silent. The commentator goes absolutely silent. The analysts go absolutely silent. And then, the entire arena, the entire broadcast feed, suddenly comes back to life. The screaming is deafening. The Vraks are losing their minds. The Kellians are losing their minds. Even the Throns, who are not known for emotional displays, are apparently losing their minds. The commentator is literally shouting incomprehensible words, sounds, vocalizations that are not even proper language. Kira walks to the center of the arena. She stands there, in her gray academy uniform, eating her protein bar, as if she has just gotten a snack from the cafeteria and not just brutally defeated the top-ranked military cadet in the entire academy. And then, the broadcast cuts to something absolutely perfect. The camera zooms out, way out. It shows the entire arena. It shows Kira standing victorious in the center. And it shows, in the viewing section, the empty chair where Kira had been sitting during all the other matches, reading her book. She had been sitting there the entire time. While everyone else had been training, preparing, mentally preparing for combat, she had been sitting in the back row, reading. The revelation comes during the post-match interview. Commander Zorth is there. He looks not happy, not sad, just very, very serious. He is looking at Kira with an expression I cannot quite identify, but it seems to involve a mixture of respect, regret, and possibly some embarrassment. Kira Vasquez, Zorth says. I believe it is time we told everyone the truth. The commentator is practically vibrating with excitement. Yes, yes, please. Tell us about this remarkable warrior. Zorth takes a breath, and then he says something that absolutely recontextualizes everything. Kira Vasquez is not a new recruit. Kira Vasquez has been part of the Vraks military for 14 years. She has participated in 47 successful operations. She has never been defeated in one-on-one combat. She holds the record for the fastest neutralization time in Vraks military history, 2.3 seconds. She is here, in this academy, as an instructor-level combatant. Her presence was required by the highest levels of the military command as a calibration test for our evaluation protocols. The arena erupts. But it is not the happy eruption from before. It is an eruption of confused, shocked, absolutely baffled alien soldiers trying to process information that does not match their expectations. The commentator is losing his mind, in a completely different way now. Wait! Wait! She wasn't even a recruit. She was testing you? Kira, for her part, finally puts down her protein bar. She looks directly at the camera. She smiles. And then she says, yeah, you all kept looking at the biggest person in the room. You all expected some epic display of strength. You all judged based on what you could see. A human. Small. Unimpressive. On first glance. So you looked past me. Every single time, you looked past me. She pauses. And then, that is your real lesson here. Not strength, not speed, not technique. The mistake you all made was the same mistake every species in this galaxy keeps making about humans. You underestimate us. You see what you expect to see. And you ignore what is actually standing right in front of you. The broadcast goes absolutely nuclear. Every news organization in the galaxy is picking up this clip. Commentators are losing their minds. Military strategists are reevaluating their entire approach to human combatants. Vrax commanders are apparently having a very serious conversation with Zorth about why they thought it was a good idea to put humans up against their recruits without mentioning that said humans were at the absolute top tier of military training. 3 weeks later, I am still watching the broadcasts. Kira is now training the next batch of recruits. The Academy has given her the position of senior combat instructor, and she is apparently taking her job very seriously. I have watched her take down 17 cadets in the past 2 weeks. None of them lasted longer than a minute. All of them looked absolutely shocked that a human woman could move like that. And here is the thing that is really killing me. The new batch of recruits is making the exact same mistakes as the last one. They walk into the arena. They see Kira. They think, "Oh, I can take this human," and then they are on the ground, wondering what happened. The commentator, still Kelrix, because apparently nobody has thought to replace him, keeps saying the same thing, over and over. How is nobody learning from this? But they are learning, I think. They are just learning very, very slowly, and through a process of getting absolutely destroyed by a woman who weighs about 80 kilograms and looks like she would rather be anywhere else. I have finished my vortex juice. I am on my 3rd order of Catherine noodles. My couch is starting to feel like part of my body, and I cannot stop watching. Because here is the thing about Kira Vasquez that the broadcast will never quite capture. She is not dramatic. She is not impressive in the way that everyone expects warriors to be impressive. She does not take victory poses. She does not celebrate. She does not even look satisfied when she wins. She just moves on to the next thing, completely unbothered by the fact that she has just redefined what military capability looks like for every species in the Academy. She is sitting in the back row again, by the way. During breaks between matches, when she is not actively fighting, she is sitting in the back row of the viewing section, reading her book, eating her rations, completely indifferent to the absolute spectacle of her own existence. And that, I think, is the real message here. The most feared warrior in the galaxy does not need you to notice her. She does not need you to be impressed. She does not need you to celebrate her victories or acknowledge her strength. She just exists, quietly, completely confident in her abilities, completely unbothered by your expectations or your doubts, or your absolute certainty that you are about to walk into that arena and destroy someone who is clearly beneath your notice. She is just going to sit there, in the back row, reading her book. And then, when it is time, she is going to stand up, walk into the arena, and absolutely obliterate whatever competition fate has thrown at her. And that, my friends, is absolutely terrifying. The Academy has a new legend now, not because she is the biggest, not because she is the strongest, not because she has the most impressive lineage, or the most kills, or the most anything, but because she is the one who nobody saw coming, the one who was sitting in the back row, completely invisible, until it was far too late to do anything about it. Somewhere, on some alien world, there is probably a broadcast going out right now about the next batch of recruits. And somewhere in that crowd, there is probably another human sitting in the back row, completely ignored, completely underestimated, completely ready to teach the next generation of warriors why you should never, ever judge someone by their appearance. The cycle continues. The mistakes are repeated, and the most feared warrior in the galaxy just keeps reading her book. I cannot wait to see what happens next.